Have you spawned into an area with really great resources all around you, ravines and water and lots of rock for you to mine out, but there isn't really anywhere for you to make a base? The terrain's a little bit wobbly, you don't know what to do. Well, a stilts base is probably the perfect starter home for you. Completely expandable and you can make it into exactly what you want. Don't you go anywhere, I'm going to show you how to do it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next episode from me, Avomance, in my starter base mini-series. Have you spawned in what you think is a really, really nice area? You've got resources all around you, but there's not really anywhere that you think would be working as a cave base or a tree house base or some other type of base. There's no villages nearby to set your base up. So you need to think about what your starter base is going to be, but you want it to be safe. This is where stilts come in really, really handy. You can make them really quick and it works beautifully. Plus, makes the base look fab. Let's crack on. Now, the joy of a stilts base is that you don't care what the terrain is like. It can have loads of steps, it can have water, it really doesn't matter because you can make your base on stilts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the stuff that's available locally. We've got dark oak there, we've got a load of birch up there, so I'm going to use that. This might contrast just a little bit too much between each other. It's the darkest wood and the lightest wood that's available, but let's see what it looks like. I haven't tried this yet, so this could go horribly wrong. So what I suggest you do is get yourself 2 high, unless you've got a higher place that you're going to be going on, in which case make it 3 high. In case what I'm going to do, make that 3 high, and then I'm going to come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Come up 3 more high, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And I'm going to put that so as it's the equivalent of the 3 high, which there is 2. Can you see the difference? It's all straight. Get rid of floating grass, it creeps you out. Then come along this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and put it in the water and make that equally high too. So you've got an area that's a little bit like that. And then this is where you can make your base as big or as small as you want. I'm going to come across 2 lots of planks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like that. One more. And then once more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Like that. And you don't have to make it a rectangle. I'm going to make this a slightly more interesting shape. So I'm going for a bit of a T shape here. It's not that big, but it's going to be big enough for a starter base. Then get yourself the slab. Now you could, if you wish, put the slab on the lower side of that block, and that stops it being spawnable. But it does also give you a number of limitations as to how you can decorate and build upon it. So I'd rather put it as a top slab, and that means that you can build on it very, very easily. We're going to light this up enough that it's not going to be a problem with mob spawning. And bring these slabs all the way around inside the shape of these pillars. Don't bring them out to the edge of the outer pillars at all. Keep it like that. I'm going to be back when I've filled in that T shape completely. I've come underneath the platform and I've popped down some torches. That's going to stop the light level underneath the platform being 7 or less. And as a result of that, we won't have problems with any mob spawning. Now, with things that are only 1 high, mobs won't be able to spawn anyway, but I've lit it up for consistency. Now that colour palette may not be to your taste, but I quite like it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim it off with upside down steps all along the edge, and that gives you an overhang that actually just looks quite attractive. If you come underneath, you can see you've got this overhang here. It works really, really well. So continue that all the way around the entirety of your shape. Your platform should look a little bit like that. You may have gone for a different shape, that's absolutely fine. Now decide where you want your entrance to be. Try and avoid doing it at the end so as it's all long and just straight, or off the sides. Do it so as it looks a little bit more interesting. I'm coming off the middle here, and I'm just going to change the steps so as they're facing the right way round. You can then come in front of those steps and place another 3 steps. That is the perfect entrance. It's 3 wide, we can gate it off later, and it gets you onto your shape. You also, if you're doing it over water, might want to consider doing something onto another platform as well. So let's just get 2 shape out of this one now. Put that around like that, and then you can come underneath and build yourself some steps down into the water. Exactly the same way, but what you can then have is 2 exits. Maybe your first exit is a problem and you can't get through it. So now you've got a second exit that will work beautifully for you. Perhaps just leave it like that. If you start putting those steps all the way down to the water. You could compromise your entrance because mobs could end up getting up it. Leave it like that and we'll do something with it in just a moment. I have spammed a load of torches down because if you're working up in this corner, it's actually dark enough at night time over here for there to be mob spawning. Of course, they could walk up the stairs. We'll deal with that in a minute. Think about where you want to live on this base. This isn't all one house, remember. This is a starter base. I'm going to come right to the edge and make the edge of the base my house. I'm going to come up 4 on the corner using an extension of the exact same block. So if you've used oak, use oak. 4 high on each corner, like that, and then building some cross beams. This is a pretty classic and relatively simple house style. We're not going to over detail it too much because this is a starter base, remember. This isn't a final base. Although what's quite nice about this style of base is it is entirely modular. And if you wanted to, you could expand this and make it spread over a massive area just by adding sections of the platform over and over again. So maybe you want to build an extra platform on the end of this and it goes off that way. Maybe you want to come off this way, it goes off that way. It's entirely up to you. The next decision you've got, do you want your walls to be wood or stone? In this instance, we are going to go for stone. So on the inside of the logs, not here so as it's flat against the log, on the inside of the logs, put a square of cobblestone. Cobblestone's a good base to make the wall out of. However, leave some gaps and every now and again, pop yourself in some normal stone blocks. You can make these very easily as a result of smelting up your cobblestone, and then get 4 of these blocks to make some stone bricks, because stone bricks really break up the texture very nicely. And pop those around there, get rid of that torch that's in my way, and we've left ourselves a gap here for a double door. I fancied a double door, don't know why, I just did. And then build up these walls, making sure you leave gaps for windows, otherwise you won't be able to see out all of the scenery and whether or not the postman's come with your parcel. 1 solid wall surrounded by 3 other solid walls with some holes in. I did change my mind. I've made it a single door and then I've got a single opening there for a window. It just makes more sense to me. Then come along the outside, decide which way the gable's going to go. I'd recommend that you have the arc of your gable above your door area and come out 1 away from the edge of your post and then create yourself whatever shape gable you fancy. You could do a straight 12-12, which is literally where you go diagonally up with your steps like that. So it looks like that. Or if you want to, you can make it slightly more interesting by adding in some stone brick every now and again, like this. And it gives you a much taller shape. You can see like that, makes it a little taller. Although personally for me, I think the straight 12-12 is better when you've got a house of this size. 2 gable ends finished off there. I'm then going to use some oak because there'll be plenty of oak within this dark oak forest to do the roof. Using dark oak would be way too much here, so I just want to contrast a little bit and put myself a nice little wooden roof on here. And once you've gone up and over, we'll detail it up ever so slightly more. Because this house is an even number of blocks wide, often I go to an odd number to get a sharp peak at the top, but this is even. What that gives you is a double peak, so 2 upside down steps. So put yourself a 2 wide row of slabs all the way across, matching up the block that you've made of the steps, so oak on those and blocks on there. That will mob proof the roof and also give it a slightly sharper look. It makes it look a little bit more authentic. Then grab yourself the door. Just to finish off the safety element of this, come inside, always put it from the inside and pop down your door. You can open your door and then no mobs are going to be able to get you once you've put in your glass. Shove in your glass in each of your window spaces. Let's just finish off these gable ends. Let's go back to our platform wood, the birch wood, and on the inside of the log, because it will give it some depth, make yourself a block end. Leave it so as you've come over the wood 1 here, and then along this side don't close it off too much because you're going to want to build yourself an open area. So if we come here like that, you can see we've left ourselves a 2 wide area. That is also going to remain open. There's very little you can do about that at the moment, but we will play with it very shortly. Let's pop 2 panes of glass in there and that makes for a nice gable end. Do the same on this side. Once those gable ends are done, pop yourself in a bed, pop in some furnaces, put some chests across each of those. Remember, this is a starter base, so it's not got item sortage. This is just dump chestage, and you've got yourself somewhere where you can keep yourself nice and safe whilst you do the rest of your base. Make sure you shut your door. Place some fences all the way along the outside of your walls. Use the same wood that you use for the logs here so as it matches up nicely. That, one, adds a level of decoration, but two, more importantly, stops these being spawnable blocks. Upside down steps are spawnable. These fences stop that. Now, put the rest of your fences all the way around the outside to give yourself a full perimeter. When you come to here, leave one gap on either side. You may also choose, and I'm going to do it, to remove the fences that are on top of the wooden posts and just replace them with an extra wooden post. It makes for just a nicer looking finish on those fences. And also put a wooden post on either side of those, or if you would prefer, put the same wood that you've got there. For me, I much prefer the wooden post, but it's entirely down to your own taste. Now we can start having a little bit of fun with this structure. So I'm going to grab exactly the same fence post, the same wood, and build a 3 high pillar using these fence posts. Don't do it on those 2 in the middle, but do it on all of these 4 and create an elevated area. Then grab a slab of the same wood and come across on top of all 4 of them. At this point now, you can build a gently sloping roof. First off, come between them this way, going over the top of your steps that go into the water, and this side. And then come out 1, come on top 1, come across 1. This block will delete and go like that. And then you get a gentle sloping arc that goes up. Do exactly the same on both sides until they meet in the middle. And you get a really nice roof shape like that. And now repeat it on this side. So now you've got 2 roofed overhung areas that you can use to protect yourself from phantoms if you've not slept, protect yourself from the elements, and start to build inside to make it look a little bit more base-like. Pick one of the open squares first though, doesn't matter which one. And when you're there, create yourself a small square using some of any real stone, brick, stone, cobble, whatever you'd like. Make sure you don't punch a hole into the floor. And then get yourself a hay bale and pop it in the middle. On top of the hay bale, put yourself a campfire. That is going to give you a signal of smoke that goes 25 blocks high. It means you can see this thing from a long while away. It is going to be difficult to get lost. So now you can start to fit out your base however you would like to fit it out. Now you may have raided a village, you may not be ready for this yet because you've not got the right items because it's still early game for you. But what you can do is get yourself a set of bookshelves, bring them all the way around this way. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come down like this. Get yourself a second row and just build up enough bookshelves to get yourself the maximum enchantment levels. Now you can do this over time, you don't have to do it all in one go, but that creates a nice enchanting area. When you've got enough iron, pop yourself an anvil on there so you can start to do combined enchantments. Maybe you need a bit of a chest to hold some stuff. Put a chest on there and a chest on there. Just build it up as you would like. Now I imagine you've not gone to the nether yet because it's still early game, so you won't have a potion stand. You can bring that in at a later date. But what are really quite simple to make are all of the crafting elements, and I think that would be underneath in almost like a tool shed. So we're going to bring in these different crafting elements here. So get a crafting table, a cartography table, a loom, and all of these other things, and start to build up a nice area for yourself. So we've got our working area with some chests interspersed with various workstations, cartography, loom, smoker, blast furnace, stone cutter, all that kind of thing. Some storage with barrels, because I think barrels are significantly nicer looking than chests. And I've used those to create this bone meal producer. This is a composter. If we put some seeds, if I put half of these seeds into the composter, they will flow through and slowly that composter will fill up with compost. Now seeds do take a little bit of time. They're not a great composting item, but you can get loads and loads of them. And eventually what happens is the composter fills up and through that hopper you get bone meal and you can use that later. We're also going to come across here and just in this area here we are going to create 4 rows of 2. Now, and in these I'm going to put wooden hoe on that, and I'm going to put pumpkin seeds 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now, it's not absolutely critical that you've got a water source next to these. It will speed things up, but it is not absolutely critical. If you wish to, you could create a little water source thing there. That would work beautifully by just surrounding it with a block and putting a bucket of water inside and next to it. That would then speed that up. We're then going to use the fact that water speeds things up to make ourselves a little farm. Coming down here, get yourself a ladder on this flat surface. That's going to make it harder for things to get up into your base. Not impossible, I grant you, but harder. And then get planks or half flat slabs or anything like that, and create yourself a walkway into the water area here. I'm just going to go 6, and on there either side put a row of dirt. Now you can go out, because you're in water, as far as you want. I'm just going to go 3 in each direction for now, because we're only just really a bit of a starter base, so we don't want to do too much. And then hoe that up. Because you are in the water that's surrounding it will give it plenty of irrigation, which means that you can plant whatever you want in there. But remember, when you plant, try and if you can, do separate crops in rows, because they will grow slightly faster. So I'm just going to do carrots. You may not have carrots, you may only have seeds. If you've only got seeds, it doesn't matter. Just plant it all up with wheat. It will just be ever so slightly slower in its growth. And when you've done that, create yourself a rim around the outside of your farm. I'm going to use exactly the same wood that we've built these out of. And I'm going to just do upside down logs like this. So as you can see the grain of the log, it looks nice. And then on the top one, there, and there, and also here and here, I'm going to put another set of logs. I'm going to get more fence. I'm going to put fence in between them, like that, and that has given us a much more private area for our garden. If anything gets in, this will make it slightly harder to get in and out, but now it deems it slightly unnecessary. We can then get ourselves a couple of gates, again use the same colour, pop a gate there and a gate there. We can go in and out to the water. Maybe we have a little jetty, so we can build a jetty out of these same logs here, like that. And maybe there's a boat, maybe there isn't, it's entirely up to you. So we have managed to get our base looking pretty swish now. We've put a gate across the front with these extra fence posts on the sides. That stops anything being able to get in along this front. Just open up your gate, close it again, and you are in. We've got all of our building materials here. Here, we've got a little trap door that goes down, all the way down. You can see we just blocked off with a little bit of this wood here, all the way down into the beginnings of a mine, and you'll be able to mine without leaving the safety of your base there. Although please do be aware, mobs do spawn underground and that could get a little bit scary for you. So that's quite a nice little mine entrance. And then around here, because of that mining, we could get just a little bit of iron, enough to be able to build just a few lanterns. These lanterns make a difference and actually mean that none of this area now is light level 7 or less. It is all 8 or more, which means you are completely safe in your base. There is nothing going to hurt you. The pumpkins have already started to grow. The crops have already started to grow. It's coming together. We just need a little bit more fancy detail. So with very little extra detail, you can create yourself a really nice looking base. Just a little bit of leafage from the dark oak that you've been chopping down. 2 bits of iron gets you enough shears to get these leaves, definitely. Sat on top of some composters. Remember to use shift click, otherwise you'll just compost the leaves and that's a bit of a waste. As you continue to get more iron, you can replace some of these slightly uglier torches with the lanterns, which are fantastic. Just put 8 gold ingots around a lantern, around a torch, and you get a really nice looking lantern. Add up the storage as you go to the nether, bring in a potion station, lots and lots of opportunities. One starter base on stilts that looks way more complicated than it actually is. It's just a few bits of wood and a few bits of stone with all of your standard workstations. Nothing more than that really, but coming together makes it look really quite nice. We roughed off the roof up there just by replacing some of those steps with some full blocks. It just gives it a bit more of a weathered look, and I think it looks pretty blooming good. You can do it on any terrain. You could do it in any biome, with any wood, with any stone. It is entirely up to you, completely adaptable, and you can expand it as you grow, or you can just abandon it completely and go off somewhere else. It's entirely up to you. It's your Minecraft game. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to download the world. There is a link to the world download in the description below. It'd be great to know what you think of it. You come and have a wander around and maybe you can expand on it. Do hit that like button. It'd be great to know you're enjoying it, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.